Hello and welcome everyone. Today's video is a quick one. I am using some pattern paper and ephemera from Not Too Shabby, and we're going to create 4 cards. So I have got the layout for 4 different cards laying in this tray here. I had prepared them for a video that I was going to do on the Not Too Shabby shop. I'm also bringing in the Teresa's One and Done dies. And I had them laying in this tray, and I completely forgot about doing it. And then I went ahead and made the video for the Not Too Shabby channel. And then later when I was cleaning my craft room, I came across these and realized I had all of these prepared and ready to go. And I wound up using something else for the video. And so I thought, well, we'll just pull them together. So this will be a quick video. And we're just using the 6x6 pattern paper and coordinating ephemera from May of 2026. It is the subscription. I actually have the subscription box, and I'm going to use on one of my panels one of the stamp sets, and we'll use it as well. But I'll link the materials in the description box below. But this is a super friendly beginner card making session because you're just using layers of pattern paper that are just basic shapes that you can use your paper trimmer for the most part. I think I do bring in one frame, but I've just got an embossed panel. I used an embossing folder and did my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panel. And then I just went 4 by 5 1/4 for my raspberry panel. And I've just got some cardstock scraps here that I'm creating some strips with. And I don't know, maybe one is 1 1/4 inch, and then the other one is a 1/4 inch strip, and laying it down on there. And I'm just adding these because we've got some busy floral or pattern paper there. And this kind of gives me an area to add my little raccoon and my little butterflies. And it provides a little separation and kind of keeps my ephemera pieces from not getting lost on that pattern paper. So that's where we're going to put them. And I had laid some twine in there, and it'd been a minute. I mean, I don't know. It's probably a couple, 2 or 3 weeks since I had cut these out. And so I couldn't really remember, but I had enough twine there that I think I had in mind I was going to use it on 2 of the cards. I think I wind up just maybe using it on one today's video. Can't really remember. And anyway, so we're just going to tie a simple bow in here and put it between our strips. It'll add some texture and some extra interest to our card and kind of give it a little bit of a rustic look since we've used the craft cardstock. And we're just going to use this to just add some extra interest, and then we'll put our ephemera pieces on top of it. Just trim it down, and then we've got just a little bow, and then we can add our ephemera pieces to it. So this little raccoon, it looks like he has got a raspberry smoothie in a glass with a straw that he is drinking. And so we're going to get it laid down on there. That's why I chose that piece of ephemera. I thought he's got a little raspberry drink, and it'll go nicely with the floral. So I'm just going to bring in some foam tape and just pop it up. That'll help it to kind of stabilize my twine that I've got on there and just kind of keep it in place. Now I'm going to bring in the die set, and I already had several sentiments stamped with green ink and die cut out, and so I'm keeping it super simple, and I'm just using those, and I'm going to figure out how I can position this on here. And these are all sentiments that are like, sending smiles, happy day, stuff like that. Just kind of uplifting little sentiments. And for this one, I'm going to trim the kind of the banner edge off of one side of it so that I can nestle it in and make it fit into my little scene. So we'll just glue it down. And I dropped it, so we've got to clean the glue off of there. I'm telling you, I've got fumble fingers. I drop stuff all the time and I have to kind of wipe out my little glue mess. So there's our first card. So for the next one, Not Too Shabby has these A2 size panels, and they're the exact size of an A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And these are perfect for beginner card makers because they have a beautiful scene on them. They cover up your whole panel, and you could slap a sentiment on there and be done. I'm going to bring in, I had this red scrap, and I don't know what this is from. It was in my stash, but I'm going to cut it down And we're going to do kind of the same thing we did on our other one. We're going to create a landing zone for our ephemera pieces just to separate them from the background paper a little bit. And I cut the bigger strip and then decided, nope, I'm going to go with a smaller strip. I don't need much, just a little separation from my background panel. And so I think this is probably a 1/2 inch, maybe a 1/4, I don't know. And I'm going to just lay my little bunny, and she is carrying a basket of raspberries. And so I'm going to lay her on this raspberry background panel, and she's going to be a focal point for the front of it. I've brought in an owl and a bow, and I think I had some more butterflies laying there as well. Decided to put the bow up there at the top and just add a little interest with the bow. And then I'm going to bring that owl in and put it on the inside of the card just for some interest on there. It is super cute. That little owl has got a hat and a little scarf, and it is just darling. And then we're going to add the butterflies to the inside. And, these ephemera packs, you have plenty of pieces, so you might as well use them up. And for this one, I'm just going to bring in another one of the sentiments, and I'm going to get it laid down on the inside of the card. And we've got just a cute little note card. These sentiments all kind of go well with just a note card, just for any reason. So I was thinking, I could send these. We have a little prayer list that goes out weekly at our church. And they're on the inside of the list. It always gives suggestions for sending cards, and it gives address to those that they would suggest sending cards. And so I thought this would be a nice little set of cards that I could use for that, because, I could tailor my message to whatever is recommended for that particular card. So anyway, I thought this would be nice for that. And we're getting into better weather and planting season, and I just thought these florals and kind of the berries are just right for the season. So I love this. It reminds me of a picnic tablecloth, this pattern here. And so I'm just going to add it to have some additional color, and then to kind of tone down that other pattern that I've got going on there. And it'll give me a nice area to add some ephemera. We've got a little birdhouse, a little bow. I've got a little fern I'm going to tuck behind there. It's actually kind of like it's wrapped in twine, like a little floral that you'd give out. But I thought if I covered up the twine, I could just make it look like I've got some fern poking out behind my little birdhouse on a stick. And we'll get it laid down on there. And then I've got some daisy flowers that I'm going to just kind of cluster on there and add to it. And we're going to use several pieces of our ephemera here and just kind of tuck them in. So you can see this would be a very good set for somebody that's just starting out with card making and maybe doesn't have all of the tools and the machines and stuff. Really all you need are some card bases, a trimmer, and some glue, and maybe some sentiments, and you've got a quick way to make some cards. So I'm contemplating the sentiment, was thinking about putting it on the outside, but then just decided to add it to the inside of the card. Trying to get it lined up there straight. So I contemplated for a minute about adding that twine to it, and then I just decided against it and just kind of leave it simple. We've got enough ephemera on there, and we're just going to move on to the next card. Now this next card I used the stamp set for it. And I just took and used some VersaFine Clear ink, and then I brought in some gold embossing powder, and I just embossed it so that I wouldn't have to color the bear. Now, I realized I didn't use that other daisy, and so I brought it in and put it on the inside of the card. I saw it sitting there, and so I was like, oh, let's do that now. So I had to bring in a card base, and I just folded it. And because all my card bases were top folding, and I needed a side folding that I could turn landscape for this. And we're just going to use several pieces of the pattern paper. We've got the bear on the back of this, and this is a cute pattern, but I'm going to use the brown. It's going to be the base layer and just kind of give us a neutral landing zone for this pine pattern paper that we're going to use to layer up on there. It's a busy pattern, so I wanted to use kind of a plain pattern. On the back of it is the toadstools or the mushrooms, and I love that as well. Those are really pretty, but we're going to use the pine cones and the pine needles on this. And then I did use one of my nesting dies for this, and I stamped the stamp with and gold heat embossed it, and I've just layered these two up on here, and it makes a nice little scene. And I took the sentiment, Nature's Calling, from the stamp set, and I did the same thing with it. I stamped and heat embossed it with the gold, and then laid it on some vellum. And then I've got a gold twine bow that I'm going to use on this. And so we added a few little simple elements to this card, you know, by using the dies and doing some heat embossing. But a really simple, beginner-friendly card if you've got some of the extra tools that you can use, the die cutting machine and some nested dies. And we've got a pretty shiny card. You can see when I tilt it. And my bow fell off, and got to give it a good press. And just trying to added some more glue. And I actually had trouble with it later. It fell off. And so I added some glue and some double-sided tape, and then that took care of it for me so that it did stick. And so we've got 4 quick cards. This video is, you know, under, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I was able to crank out 4 cards pretty quickly. I've snapped some quick pictures of them for you. And if you like the pattern paper and the ephemera, you can pick it up in the Not Too Shabby shop. I will link everything in the description box below so that you can check it out. And if you like the video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like, it sure would help the channel. Thanks. Bye-bye.